Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, another movie review, this time for Wonder Woman 84. Now this movie's been out for a while, and it's been on HBO Max, of course, because of the whole pandemic thing. Now, I'm going to jump into my review here. This film's been getting a mixed reaction. Some people hate it, some people like it. Uh, Personally, I'll just go ahead and give my rating for this film. I find it to be average. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 4. I think this is an alright film. I like it, but it's nothing to write home about and doesn't compare with the first flick. I like to bring Chris Pine back, although the way that they do it with this whole MacGuffin of this wishing stone thing kind of works, but at the same time, it feels kind of like a contrived MacGuffin type thing you see in a lot of movies, like, oh, the wishing stone. It's cool to see him back. His acting is great, and his chemistry with Gal Gadot is still great. This video will probably be kind of dark because I'm doing this at night, so just so you know, obviously. But their chemistry are great. Gal Gadot's acting in this actually surprised me with like her having to let go of Chris Pine, because in order to get rid of the wishes, you have to like renounce the wishes, pretty much just say I renounce it and it goes away. The villains in this, Cheetah and Max Lord. Kristen Wiig, who plays Cheetah, actually surprised me as well. She does a great job as Cheetah. When she becomes more like the actual Cheetah, she becomes more of like a real villain. Her and Max Lord are like sympathetic villains in this, because he pretty much wants to get all the power he can for his son for whatever reason. It's not really explained. He doesn't really get much development until the main end, when they show flashbacks of him like as a kid who grew up really poor and everything, didn't have any power, and he wants his son to be proud of him and respect him, I guess, by him having all the power in the world. But it never really gives him like an end goal of what's he going to do with all this godlike power he keeps getting. And that is kind of a problem, because even though he's sympathetic, and I like that him and Cheetah aren't clear-cut villains. I do like that, but at the same time, they don't really ever tell you what his end game is, and maybe he doesn't really have one. And that just kind of makes him feel a little blank as a villain. Cheetah, like I said, by Kristen Wiig, is great. It's cool to see her as like this nerdy type girl who makes friends with Wonder Woman, who eventually she wishes to like have her powers and abilities, or be like her or whatever. But there are plot holes here, because she makes two wishes. She makes that wish, even though every person's supposed to only get one wish. She makes that wish, and then later on she wishes to become a cheetah, basically, and then she becomes an actual cheetah at the end. The CGI to do Cheetah did look a little bad, but the actual look of Cheetah I don't really like. Maybe like doing a cat person character, CGI or practical. Maybe if it did it practical, it'd be better. But doing it CGI, maybe there's just no way to really make a cheetah, a human hybrid, actually look cool. But I would have liked it better if they would actually stuck to more of the comics look. And this film is not really like the Wonder Woman comics at all. At least not like the modern ones that everyone seems to enjoy. Which the first film was much closer to. In the first film, Patty Jenkins, the director, did a lot of nods to Christopher Reeve's Superman, and here she tries to like almost recreate the vibe of Christopher Reeve's Superman at the beginning of it, and it doesn't really fit for this being a Wonder Woman film. It's like, if you just want to remake Christopher Reeve's Superman, just go do an Elseworld remake of Christopher Reeve's Superman. I mean, that's fine. And I heard Richard Donner liked this movie, and let's be honest, the reason he liked the movie is because it jerks off his Superman film, which is a great film, fantastic film, but that's not what Wonder Woman is. I do like the more joyful 80s tone of this for the most part, except for the more like goofy, like wannabe recreations of Christopher Reeve's Superman at the beginning of it, and like this whole mall robbery or whatever. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It just gets really over the top, silly, more in the vein of like Superman 3 than Superman 1. Like I said, though, the acting is great. Pretty much the movie ends with Pedro Pascal realizing that each person who makes a wish, like, is losing the thing that's most important to him, and he's causing chaos on the planet that's going to cause the death of his son. Pretty much at the end, he renounces his wish, finally, when it gets into his head, because Wonder Woman uses her magic lasso on him to make him realize that he's destroying everything and losing his son. And that causes him to renounce his wish, and everything goes back to normal. And he gets with his son at the end. He talks about how much he loves him and everything. It's actually really good acting, and almost made me tear up. Pedro Pascal does a great job here, but I still feel like he should have been more of an actual villain, like had more of a game plan for what he was going to do with absolute power. Maybe like run the world or whatever, make everyone do what he wants to say or something like that, or do what he wants them to do. It need to be something a little bit more there, and then he sees the error of his ways at the end. I also wish that he would have been a little bit more of a formidable villain against Wonder Woman, because they got Cheetah for like the muscle villain, because she doesn't want anything to happen to Maxwell Lord, because she doesn't want to lose her wish. But they got her as the more formidable fighting villain. But at the end of the movie, her fight happens first, and it's a decent fight, but it's over pretty quick. And I also don't buy that she would renounce her wish at the end. Like, all through the movie, she's like, I'm never giving up this power. And then at the end of the movie, we see her turn back to normal. So evidently she did give it up. So it's like, it kind of feels like a waste of the Cheetah character to me, because that seems to be what it's implying, because she's a cheetah and then she's back to being a human at the end. So it's like, well, she must have given up her power. So that kind of seems like a waste to me. Wonder Woman learns how to fly in this movie. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, though, after she has like one teaching lesson with Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor, who talks about how it is to fly jets, and then all at once she starts flying. Also, I like the fact that they included Wonder Woman's invisible jet in this, but all at once Wonder Woman has magical powers like out of nowhere, and she talks about how she was taught to make things invisible. Like, really, literally comes out of nowhere. It would have been cooler. It would have made more sense if they would have had like a flashback to explain it. This film is also a little bit too overlong, and there's some pacing problems. Not enough action here. They could use a little bit more. Like for the first half of the movie, Kristen Wiig and Pedro Pascal's plots seem to be more interesting than Wonder Woman's, who is mostly just a love story. Oh, and another problem with this movie, Chris Pine's character like comes back. She wishes for him to come back to life, but for some reason the magic stone makes him come back to life inside another guy's body and have complete control over it. And only she can see Chris Pine, but everybody else sees the other guy. And then she's like having sex with him or whatever, and they're treating like the whole thing that Steve Trevor's in this guy's body is like a joke. So basically Wonder Woman like rapes a guy. It doesn't bother me too bad because this is a silly superhero movie. It's not really meant to be taken seriously. But at the same time, they do treat it as just like a humorous joke, and so it comes off kind of stupid. If they would have played it up more like, this is wrong, but we still love each other, so they give in and do it anyway. If they would have played it more serious like that, then it wouldn't have went over as bad. But the fact they treat it as just like this silly joke thing, like, oh, we just had sex, let's do it again. It doesn't really work. All in all, though, it's an all-right movie. I like this film as like an all-right film. I like The Birds of Prey better than this. In terms of like my DCEU movies, how I feel about them, I thought Man of Steel was awesome. That film has grown on me more. Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Cut, the theatrical cut is terrible. The Ultimate Cut, I thought was good, solid. I used to think it was great, but it's actually went down a little bit. But I still think it's a solid film. Suicide Squad, actually, I used to really like, but each time I've watched it, it went further and further down for me. Now when I watch it, it's just pretty much a passable B film. A low-level 2-star passable B movie. I don't really like the film anymore. I still enjoy the performances, but as an actual movie, I think it's just like a low-level passable B movie. Wonder Woman, I think, is awesome. Justice League, that's another film that's went down for me. It's kind of just like an average movie now. I used to really like it because it was like a callback to Super Friends, but watching it now, it's more just like an average Super Friends episode, really. I'd probably give it like a 2.5 now. A lot of these movies have changed to me after seeing them again. Birds of Prey I actually like better than this. I thought was pretty good. And I don't count Joker because that's its own thing, but that was a masterpiece. All in all, this is an average 2.5-star film. It's not really worth your time unless you enjoyed the first film. Then if you enjoyed it, it's an alright, likable sequel. Just nothing to write home about or anything to really see more than once. Hopefully the third film was a step up. So all in all, thank you guys for watching, and sorry this video is so dark, and I'll see you again.